Hey guys, it's Titan Heat here. How's everyone doing today? So, for today's video, we've got another special video for you guys, and as you can tell, it's a little bit different than usual, and that's because we are doing another monitor review, or more specifically, a gaming monitor. So, this particular gaming monitor I have here is the Titan Army P27A2R, and the folks at Titan Army were nice enough to send me a monitor review. So, for this video, we're just gonna get right into it and get this out of the box and all set up and see what this monitor is like. And once I have it set up, I'll go over all the specs and performance and all the features of this high-end gaming monitor. So here we go.
Okay, so while I unbox this monitor and set it up, let's talk about the specs. To recap, this monitor is the Titan Army P27A2R. It is a 27-inch gaming monitor with a 2560 by 1440 resolution, or simply 1440p. It also has a 180Hz refresh rate and a fast 1 millisecond response time to go with it, as well as adaptive sync features. All this for just $199.99 right now. But there's currently a $30 off coupon on Amazon, so it's more like $169.99. But wait, there's more. Titan Army has provided me with an exclusive discount code that gives you another $10 off and can be combined with the current offer that they have on Amazon right now for a total of $40 off, making this monitor $159.99. You can find the link and discount code for this monitor in the description below. Before we go further though, I do want to point out that most monitors in this price range with that resolution typically have 165Hz or 144Hz refresh rates. This monitor having 180Hz refresh rate is quite interesting and does actually set it apart from a lot of monitors within this price range. Alright, so some other noticeable things about this monitor is that it does support both HDMI and DisplayPort connections, specifically HDMI 2.1 and DisplayPort 1.4. That's important to know because the HDMI standard maxes out at 1440p 144Hz, while DisplayPort will have no trouble hitting the monitor's max settings. So if you want to take advantage of the full potential of this monitor, you're going to want to make sure that you use DisplayPort with it. This monitor also has a 95% DCI P3 color gamut and supports 16.7 million colors, all at up to 300 nits of brightness. Also, as for the box itself, well, as you can see, my cat totally approves of it. Without his seal of approval, we wouldn't go any further than this. Okay, so the 180Hz refresh rate is definitely one of the biggest highlights of this monitor. And combined with the 1 millisecond response time, it's a very high performing monitor and responsive monitor for gaming. What you can expect from this monitor is much smoother motion compared to other monitors, as well as less motion blur. But probably even more important is lower input lag, which can help a lot in fast-paced games. But are the benefits really noticeable? Well, let's compare this monitor to a 4K 60Hz monitor that I have. I am quite used to 60Hz gaming as I mostly play console games or PC games at 60 FPS, so it's always been fine for me. But for me, 180Hz is definitely a noticeable difference still, especially because it allows me to play games at higher frame rates without screen tearing. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the two monitors. On the left, the monitor is running a testing tool at 4K 60Hz with VSync on, so there will be no screen tearing. Screen tearing happens when the frame rate goes above the refresh rate of the monitor. Basically, the monitor just kind of can't keep up with it. With VSync on, it prevents the game's frame rate from going above what the monitor's refresh rate can handle. So there won't be any screen tearing because of that. And on the right hand side is the Titan Army monitor running the same test but at 180Hz, also with VSync on. So with VSync on both monitors, both are fine. No screen tearing. So let's turn off VSync and let each of the frame rates go above what the monitors can support. You can clearly see the screen tearing on the 60Hz monitor now when it's only a little bit above 60 FPS. Meanwhile, the Titan Army monitor can go, above 180 FPS, and it still looks pretty smooth. I mean, you can kind of see the screen tearing on both of them, but it's not as bad on the Titan Army monitor when you're above 180 FPS. The monitor's other built-in adaptive sync features are probably helping out a bit here too. So even if you don't want to use VSync and you want to go above 180 FPS for a game, you'll still have a better experience than if you went above 60 FPS on a 60Hz monitor or TV. But of course, if you kept basing on for the smoothest experience, then on a 60Hz monitor, you're stuck with 60 FPS. And it's pretty clear there are certain noticeable advantages to higher frame rates, especially a 3 times improvement in this case. So whether you want to lock your frame rate to the refresh rate, or you want to go beyond and push your game to its limits, the 180Hz Titan Army monitor here, it just completely blows away the 60Hz monitor across the board. Really, the only advantage the 60Hz monitor has is that it's 4K. But does that really matter or much or make a huge difference? Well, you've seen the benefits of having a higher refresh rate just now, and you know this monitor in particular has plenty of refresh rate, so to speak. But let's see how it actually looks with games running on it, and see if 1440p and 4K is a drastic difference or not. First game we'll test is Halo Infinite. Honestly, it's not easy to show you the full quality of the display with camera footage, like recording the screen, but I think you can tell the image is indeed very nice. Like, everything with the scene in Halo Infinite just looks beautiful. The colors, the brightness, and of course the motion, all very good on this display. The game is running at max setting too, so we can see Halo Infinite at its best. And don't forget, this is all running at the monitor's native resolution of 1440p. So how does it compare to 4K then? Well, let's take a look at the same scene on Halo Infinite but on a 4K monitor instead. The game still looks great, of course, at 4K, but honestly I can't really see much of a difference between 1440p and 4K. My opinion is that it simply looks great on both. For the record though, I do usually prefer to play my games at 4K, and I'm usually fine with 60 FPS because most 4K displays I've gamed on have 60Hz refresh rates, such as, most 4K TVs. But even looking at these two displays side by side, I don't think I could point out any major differences between 4K and 1440p. Maybe the image is slightly sharper in 4K, but as you can see here, it's not a night and day difference. I think most people probably won't be able to notice, any major differences. And I also think that most people probably agree that 180 versus 60 Hz is a huge improvement and more noticeable than 1440p versus 4K. Okay, let's move on to the next game, which is Halo 2 Anniversary. Another beautiful looking Halo game. Let's test this on the mission Delta Halo, which in my personal opinion is the best looking mission of all of Halo 2 Anniversary. I'd say perhaps that's because of both the lighting and wide variety of nature and scenery on the mission. But this monitor definitely makes all that shine, and all the scenery on this mission just looks really amazing. This also goes without saying that playing an FPS game at high frame rates is definitely a much smoother experience too. Even in classic graphics, Halo 2 looks really nice on this display compared to your run-of-the-mill display. Anniversary graphics definitely look even better, but you'll still get a nice experience with classic graphics. Plus, Halo 2 runs even better in classic graphics, frame rate wise, if you don't mind less eye candy for the visuals. Let's take a look at one more Halo game, the classic Halo 3. This game is definitely one of the better performing games in the Master Chief Collection due to its age, yet it still looks really great too. The graphics of Halo 3 hold up very well to this day, and this monitor certainly helps Halo 3 look its best too. Everything about Halo 3 is just so nice on this monitor. The frame rate, smooth motion, clear image, vibrant colors. This is basically peak Halo 3 visually. And I don't even feel the image is lacking because of the 1440p instead of 4K. I mean, despite Halo 3 being a game from 2007, it still has so much visual potential at higher resolutions and frame rates on MCC. And of course, thanks to MCC, Halo 3's visuals have been enhanced to take advantage of more features like HDR, which really shows on this monitor. Alright, let's get out of Halo and take a look at a couple other games. The first game I think will really shine on this monitor is Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Let's take a look at this launch sequence in the game and the subsequent space battle. So my belief is that for a high resolution, vibrant color HDR monitor like this, not only are nature scenes going to shine on this, but also space scenes too. It's kind of why some of the best IMAX movies in theaters, they tend to be like nature or space documentaries. They just look their best in this manner. And of course, for games like Call of Duty, higher frame rates are definitely a must-have. 60 FPS is like the bare minimum you want in a COD game, but if you can go higher, then that's a huge plus. And with Infinite Warfare here, the higher frame rate, it's a huge improvement, and that's basically a given. As for the image quality itself, this game definitely looks very beautiful in its space environments on this monitor. Now the last game I want to take a look at is from a completely different genre from Halo and Call of Duty. This game is called Life is Strange True Colors. I selected this game because a lot of this game's environments are very beautiful and vibrant. On this monitor's HDR display, I fully expect the game to look amazing. Of course, like I said earlier, a camera recording the screen won't do it justice, but you might be able to get an idea of how impressive this monitor can handle all those colors and brightness. Like it really helps it shine, literally. And with Life is Strange True Colors, it definitely is able to live up to its name on this particular monitor. This display is able to show all the vibrant details of this game at their best. Even recording the screen, you can see the environments in this game all look very beautiful and nice on this monitor.
Okay, so that about wraps up for this video. As you can see, it's a very, very capable monitor. And you may not have heard of the brand Titan Army before. This is my first time hearing of it too, to be honest. But it's actually very impressive. And like I said, for the price that this costs, you get some very good specs for what you're paying for. Like I said, most monitors in this price range are, there's a lot. You can get a lot of good monitors in this price range, but they're usually like 165 Hz or even lower than 165. So to get a high-performing 180 Hz monitor for this price, I'd say that's a really good deal. And if you're trying to get into PC gaming, or even if you want to play with an Xbox on this, this is a nice monitor, very affordable and very good quality and very good specs, most importantly. So, like I said, if you're trying to look for a gaming monitor, you're getting into PC gaming, and you don't mind not doing 4K, and you're okay with 1440p, which, you can't really tell the difference that well, unless you count the pixels and look up close. But as long as you're okay with 1440p and a much higher refresh rate than 4K monitor, like a 60 Hz monitor, then this is probably a really good choice of a monitor for you. So if you want to check it out, I got the link in the description down below. And aside from that, if you found this video to be interesting, if you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, leave thoughts and comments, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye guys!